So chapter 2 notes, midpoint and distance is what we'll be demonstrating here in this video. So we'll start with midpoint. Now there is a formula that can be used. It's basically think average. So add the x values, then divide that sum by 2. Now make sure that you add those first, even though there's not parentheses around the addition. It has to be done before dividing by 2. So get an answer from the addition and then divide that by 2. So right now I'm just showing you which one's x1, which one's x2. So 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Then you're going to do the same thing with the y's. Add them. All right, now this is different than slope. Remember, in slope we subtracted. Midpoint is think average. So add and then divide that sum by 2. Okay, so negative 6 plus 0 is negative 6. Negative 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now, the alternate way of showing you is you do have the option to graph. Basically, what I would do is I would count the change in x, which is 4, the change in y, which is 6, and simply go half of that. So I'm going to put a slash at the 2, the second one in, right in the middle of the change in x. And then I'm going to put a slash right in the middle of the change in y and find where those two meet right there. So I'm going to call it M for midpoint, capital M, because lowercase m is slope. And it was the location 3, negative 3. So now we'll do that again. I will typically graph if I can, and make sure you show the work if you're going to graph. Same thing if you're going to prefer to choose the algebra. Okay, so negative 6 plus 2, get that answer, it's negative 4, and then take negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So be a little careful there. If you type it in your calculator wrong, or you don't put parentheses around the 3 plus 7, it could give you the wrong answer. Graphing is always a great way to check. So what you saw was I got the change in x is 8, the change in y is 4, and I'm about to find halfway in both directions. That location is going to be the midpoint. It's over at negative 2, 5. Kind of verifies what you did here as well. So that's it for midpoint. Just 2 examples. There will be plenty of practice problems to work on. Now, distance is going to be something that does happen quite a bit in our course. So I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem, but there is a distance formula. Okay, so I think I demonstrate Pythagorean theorem here. All right, so I'm graphing negative 6, 1, and 2, 5. So what I do is I finish off the right triangle, straight down, straight across. I know that's a right angle, so we can use Pythagorean theorem. 3 sides of a right triangle. Okay, those are the change in y and change in x. Pythagorean theorem is the relationship between the sides of a right triangle. The legs squared added together is the same as the hypotenuse squared. Okay, so we'll just demonstrate that. If ever, when you take the square root of 80, you're going to get just under 9. So just leave it. I always check it. If it comes out a nice number, of course, we're gonna simplify it. If it doesn't, we can leave it at square root of 80 for now. There is such a thing as simplest radical form, but we're not going to cover that this year. We had to make some adjustments. So for now, unless it says simplest radical form, just leave it as square root of 80. All right, so another example. I think I'm going to demonstrate the formula. You don't have to use the formula. And the formula will not be given to you. So if you're going to choose to use it, you have to memorize it. I'm always going to demonstrate it in class using Pythagorean theorem. So here's the formula. It's back to subtract because we really want to get the change in x, the change in y. So it's not like midpoint where we get the average. So it's going to be subtract, get that answer, and then square. Okay, so we've got 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 squared is going to be 36. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. We're going to have -8 in there, but when you square a negative, make sure it's in parentheses. Squaring a negative turns it into a positive. So it's 36 plus 64 is 100, and I will check that. Yes, it is 10. And that's, I believe, oh, we're doing that same thing. So what I did was I demoed it in the formula. Now what you're going to notice is really the formula, if you think about it, is based on Pythagorean theorem. You're getting the change in x right here, which is 6 squared. Okay, and then you're going to get the change in y right here, y1 minus y2. Square that. Now you notice I didn't say -8. When I do this, I don't consider whether I went up or down. I just don't. So I take the absolute value. I know when I square a number, whether it's negative or positive, we're going to get a positive anyway. So this looks a little more consistent with what we'll do in the year. Why learn a new formula when we're going to perform Pythagorean theorem all the time? So same process. You're noticing the same numbers are coming out. 36 and 64, same thing that's in here. Square root of 10, and that's the answer. So that's it for this quick skills video. Just showing you a couple examples. Please practice in the packets and as well as the review packet, and build your skills, and so you're ready for the assessments.